News just broke out that alleged gang leader Tesha Miller is suing the government.
Tesha Miller, the alleged leader of the Klansman gang which operates out of Spanish Town St. Catherine, and 15 other inmates are suing the government over conditions at the Tower Street Adult Correctional Centre, Jamaica's main prison. A lawsuit filed on December 4, 2024, alleges breaches of their constitutional rights, including a 2-year visitation ban and inadequate access to legal representation. The inmates claim their rights to equality and family communication were infringed when the prison imposed a no-visit day rule in November without notice. They are also challenging the poor physical conditions at the centuries-old prison and seek damages for violations of their dignity. The lawsuit is against the superintendent of the prison and the Minister of National Security. The ministry says it has been served. Tower Street Prison is plagued by overcrowding and deterioration and has long been criticized, with calls for a modern facility remaining unanswered. Mr. Miller is appealing a murder conviction while facing anti-gang charges linked to crimes allegedly committed between 2017 and 2022.
But this is not surprising since this is not his first rodeo.
Tesha Miller has sued TVJ for a particular reference to him.
Teach them! Always make sure the message reach them!
In a correspondence dated March 20, sent via email to the Director of Programs at TVJ Newsroom, Tesha Miller's attorney, Bert Samuels, of the law firm Knight, Jr. and Samuels, requested a public apology for his client. The letter, titled TVJ's Primetime 7 p.m. newscast on March 19, 2019, read as follows. Kindly be advised that we act on behalf of Tesha Miller. In your newscast on the 19th of March 2019, reporting on the court proceedings of the state's application to try our client by video link, the news, as read by your presenter, Janella Perseus, referred to our client Tesha Miller as a well-known Spanish Town gang leader. This was said 14 minutes and 57 seconds into the newscast. The undersigned was contacted by Mr. Miller, who was most distressed and who was asked that we demand an immediate retraction and apology of any classification of him as a well-known Spanish Town gang leader. For your information, may we remind you that there is indeed such a classification. However, it is only properly addressed and referred to persons who have been convicted under the Criminal Justice Suppression of Criminal Organizations Act of 2014, more popularly known as the anti-gang legislation. We ask that your retraction and apology be given equal prominence as the libelous reference to our client in your newscast of the 19th of March 2019 as gang leader. May we also remind you that in law, an apology serves to mitigate damages only. However, where demanded and not given, damages are aggravated. TVJ subsequently failed to issue the requested apology, and as such, the lawsuit was filed.
There is also some very sensitive allegations being made.
The tensions are high in the old capital of Jamaica. We are talking about Spanish Town, St. Catherine. Yeah, man. But before we get into the meat of the matter, we could kick it off like this. On your screen is the alleged gang leader of a faction of the St. Catherine-based notorious Klansman gang. We are talking about Tesha Miller. Now, Tesha Miller and 23 of his co-accused are scheduled to return to court on the 12th of December for another case management hearing. So the criminal elements were all present in the Supreme Court downtown Kingston on Thursday. All the defendants, with the exception of Dr. Paul Robinson, was remanded in custody. Dr. Paul Robinson has been charged with providing a benefit to a criminal organization. So during the hearing, the prosecution was advised by the defense of difficulties in accessing some of the electronic disclosures related to the case. The court was informed that all the defendants have separate files with documents outlining their alleged involvement in the gang. Now, as a result of that, the matter was adjourned to give the prosecution time to re-upload the documents for full disclosure. Tesha Miller and the others were charged under the anti-gang legislation and other serious offences to include that of fatal knockings and clappings, conspiracy to fatal knockings and clappings, robbery, illegal possession of firearm and ammunition, and also extortion from the St. Catherine-based business communities. So right now, the police in Spanish Town has released a long list of criminal elements who is deemed wanted by them. So over the weekend, the bloodletting continued in the streets of Spanish Town, St. Catherine. So right now, the people in the streets need to understand, say, yo, the streets of Spanish Town, very, very dangerous. As we all know, Spanish Town, the old capital, coming like a volcano that can erupt at any given time. So basically, my peeps, the fatal knockings and clappings of Bradley R, aka Tallman, will come from De La Vega City. And the next criminal element, identified as Adrian Booth, aka Munchie, have the potential to spark a war that could easily refuel the ongoing internal feud within the ranks of the notorious Klansman gang. And also it a go draw in the one other gang, because members from the breakaway Tesha Miller led faction of the Klansman gang has forged some sort of alliance with the Tickman and Theme section of the notorious one other gang. So we can definitely look out for flare-ups in certain areas. So now I'm going to give you a list of areas where flare-ups can definitely occur from what took place over the weekend. We are talking about the PNP section first. We are talking about De La Vega City. We are talking about Railway and sections of Top Banks. We are talking about Marchpen, we are talking about Lakespen, we are talking about Lime Tree Grove, we are talking about Quarry Hill, and as far as Kitson Town. Yeah, man. Now, as it relates to the Jamaica Labour Party side of Spanish Town, we are talking about Tarspen, we are talking about Leslie Pen, we are talking about Railway Lane, we are talking about Chambers Lane, Job Lane, St. John's Road, Brunswick Avenue. Them areas they controlled by one other in a Spanish Town. So flare-ups definitely you can look out for it. Now, as it relates to the commercial district that will definitely be affected, persons are to be cautious when venturing into these areas.
Remember to like and subscribe, and thanks for making it to the end of the video. Blessings. Cheers.